and I'm like,
so anyways, I'm going to start recording now because I think we've been having too many good conversations. So to the people listening, hello, hi, this is the Cut to the Chase podcast. I'm your host, Chase Mcallister, and I have my good buddy, my good friend today, my good best friend, a good friend, a good friend that I've known for so long, but I still cannot remember his last name or know how to pronounce his last name. Jake.
Pronounce his last name. It is Zufelt. It is Zufelt. So fun story. When we merged with Height, all of our email addresses are first initial, last name. I am the only one that said no. You're gonna have first name, last initial. I was like, no one knows how to pronounce my last name. So Jake Zufelt. I've gotten all kinds of stuff, so it's all good, man. But
my man, let's cut to the chase here. I ask all my guests this. This is the first question I ask everybody. If you had a 50% chance to win $10 million and a 75% chance to win $1 million, what would you take? I ask it a lot and I still can't remember it.
That is an amazing question. I would absolutely take the 50% chance.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Any reasons why?
That's not because it's money I don't have anyways. And so if I went for it, dude, shoot for the goal. I mean, it's all good. I love it. That's a great question.
Awesome.
That's a great question.
Jake,
I'm curious to see a breakdown of the answers by that.
Yeah, well,
I would love to see the statistics.
It really depends. I actually ask that question in every interview that I do. Every single interview that I do, no matter what, I ask that question. And it gives me a representation, truthfully, why I ask those questions. It gives me a representation of who you are, what your goals are, and I can tell where does this person really fit in the company right away. So when I ask them those questions and they say, I'd take the 75% chance, well, I know that they're not going to be going into sales. Because they're not willing to risk it. They just, it's a safe, security. They just want that.
Well, and my goals as a business owner has a lot less to do with money and a lot more to do with freedom.
Yeah.
And so to me, I have little kids. I want to be about freedom for myself, for my family, for others. And so, I want to have fun, man. I want to have fun. So much about what I do, what we do is about creating freedom for other people.
Yeah.
And that's really my soapbox is if you're doing marketing well, if you're doing it correctly, if you're doing your business well, it should be creating freedom. And if it's not, you're doing it wrong. It's a very simple litmus test.
So Jake, without further ado, why don't you tell people what you do really well? And who are you? Who do you serve, and why do you serve those people, my man?
That's a great question. My name is Jake Zufelt. In a former life, I was a pastor. I wasn't a very good one, but I liked Jesus enough that they kept me around.
Why are so many agency owners past pastors?
It's the same job.
We'll get to that answer after.
Same job. I swear to God. It's about communicating with people. It's about clarifying a message, and it's about selling something. It used to be Jesus, and now it's marketing services. Tell me I'm wrong. It's true. It's the same job. Did you know my general manager oversees all of our operations is my former boss?
Very cool.
He was the lead pastor at the church that I worked at.
Very cool.
Which is fun. It's all good stuff.
Funny enough, Wesley, my chief operational director, used to be my manager as well. Yeah. Anyways, going back to who are you? Who do you serve?
Cheers to that. Cheers to take it.
I'm actually drinking. It's for the people that are like, oh my God, seeing this at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. This is a pre-recorded podcast. End of the day. It is currently 7:30 at night.
I love it. It's a PBR too.
This is the only one and only beer I will drink and have tonight. So for the Karens that are watching, screw you.
Everybody, he's okay. He's okay.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
Man, I serve businesses that are starting. I serve businesses that are stuck, and I serve businesses that are scaling. I believe that marketing, like I said, is an avenue to create freedom inside and outside of your business. And so we specialize in organizing and we specialize in optimizing your online presence. Now, to be clear, we do SEO, we do search engine optimization, but I'm talking about more than that. Your online presence in 2022 is more complex than it has ever been. And I believe it's harder to run a business in 2022 than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. And so most business owners go into their industry and they go into their line of work, not because they want to manage their online presence and manage their digital marketing. They go into their business because they like the industry that they're in. And then they come to find out that there's this huge component that literally will affect whether your business survives or dies. And it all surrounds around your online presence. And so we step into some pretty gnarly situations. And at Height Digital, I'm one of 25 franchises for Height Digital. I own the Eugene, Oregon franchise, which is why we like weird stuff, is because we're out here in the Pacific Northwest working with like escape rooms and cemeteries and train tours and midwives. And like everybody at Height knows, like if it's weird, send it to Jake. But part of it is like we're just like we understand the holistic view of marketing and online presence. So none of it really scares us, right? So we just dive in and we help fix some really complex issues. It's really the specialty for me and my team at Height Eugene and really Height in general. But we take really complex and really complicated situations and we simplify them. That's our bread and butter, man.
Give us an example of a complicated situation that you might have simplified in the past.
Good God. I have a whole thing. I call it 10 ways to make your online presence not suck. I have presented this at Chamber of Commerce seminars. I presented this in a number of different situations. The number one thing I would say, people are always surprised when they hear this. I'm like, the number one thing that will fix your digital marketing is knowing your logins. That is the number one thing. People are like, you're leading with that? And I'm like, yes, because we have had multiple times where a prospect comes to us and I'm on the sales call with them. I'm on the consultation with them. We go to their website and their website is down. They don't know what happened. They have no idea. So we dive in. We put on our nerd glasses, man. We all used to be way cooler at parties, and now we're into like just the nerdiest technical side of marketing. And we're trying to recover their domain. We're trying to fix their DNS records. That right there is the single biggest hurdle we see with most companies is they don't know their logins to Google Analytics, to Google My Business, to their social media platforms, to their website, to their domain, to their hosting. And they don't realize there's a difference between all of those. Mm-hmm. Your actual website builder, your hosting, where your domain is registered. So we've hopped into situations before where everything is it's out of control because somebody used to work for them and they're the ones that created the login. And when that person quit working there, they dissolved the email address that was attached to the login. And before you know it, their domain doesn't renew automatically and they lose their entire website. They lose their domain and they lose their emails. They lose their email records. It's been some pretty wild stuff, man. We've seen people have to spend like $5,000 just to recover some basic things that you need for your business.
What's number 2 on your list?
You ready for this? Manage your logins.
I kid you not. Damn spreadsheet.
I kid you not. It's like it's so funny when I'm at these like really, professional environments of, like speaking and things like that. And I begin a digital marketing presentation with know your logins and manage your logins. Here's why. Because when you give up control of any of your accounts to a marketing agency, you and I both know a lot of marketing agencies are shady as can be. Yep. And they maintain control of stuff. And when you try to leave them, they hold it ransom. I've seen it this week. I was on a consultation today and I said, can you pull up your Google ad account? I want to take a look at it. And they said, I don't have access to it.
Okay, that's something.
And there's $3,500 a month in Google advertising spend. They've never received a report. They've never received an optimization list. It's like thousands and thousands of dollars for a multi-site dental office. Okay, I can guarantee you we're going to sign them. And it's simply because there is so much dishonesty and lack of transparency and these little shady tactics that agencies use where they will maintain and they'll call it like, oh, this is all, important information that only we should have so no one messes it up, or like this is proprietary, this or that. It's just not true. It's just a way for them to like cling to their monthly recurring revenue. It's awful. And so we tell people all the time, like, get OnePass, get LastPass, get whatever you need to share access to your logins, and make sure that it's limited to only the people that need them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that just like the sexiest way to start a conversation on digital marketing? Is like know your logins and manage your logins.
All right, so what's number 3?
I'll keep rolling, man.
Yeah, we'll just keep rolling. I guess we'll just keep going.
You'll love this one, man, because I know the industry you work in. Leverage your database. People don't realize that when it comes to your online presence, that you don't have to fork out a whole bunch of money. There's probably 20% of your database that's ready to do business with you today. 100. So the big thing is if you're not a business that is texting right now, you are falling behind. You are losing business like crazy. Yeah. You've got to be texting. Email marketing is still very much alive. Yeah.
The stat. We asked this on all of our lead forms. For the leads that we saw, we asked, what's your preferred contact method, call or text? And 90%, 90% of the leads that come into our thing say text.
Absolutely. And it's the same because it's such a big commitment, right? I think about like my wife is running around with the kids all day, and like for her to make a phone call to a business is like, it's so hard, right? Like we have so many offspring running around our house, and it's like, what? She doesn't have time. But if I'm able to text, or she's able to text a business, the same thing is true. Like when Google My Business, or the Google Business Profile, because they had to rename it, opened up the chat option, game changer, absolute game changer, right? You got to be texting. You have to be able to have database reactivation campaigns, which is just a fancy way of saying like automate an email or a text that goes to everybody in your database, find out who's still interested, give them a call to action. It's huge.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Number 4, Google yourself. Google yourself weekly. That is number 4 out of how to make your online presence not suck. Google yourself. That's not a euphemism. That's like literally just go and look up your name, look up the name of your business, look up your industry related to your area. If you don't like what you see, there's something that you need to change. Okay. I was reached out to probably 2 years ago by an IT company. And I said, what's the name of your business? And he said, it's I Do IT. And I went, wait a second. I do. So you want me to literally Google I Do IT? And he's like, yeah. So I Google it and I was like, dude, all I've got are job websites, like people who I Do IT, and rap and hip hop songs because I'm literally Googling I Do It. And I was like, that's a problem. We should probably work on that. But the number of people that don't Google themselves regularly and come to find out that like realtors, mortgage lenders that changed companies are still showing up for the old company they used to work for, or on a website that doesn't exist anymore, but for some reason the sitemap is still, indexed by Google, and before you know it, it's completely irrelevant and people can't find you.
I think it's a super slept on thing in the insurance space. I think agents fail to do branding. In the real estate space, they are very, very, I think realtors are more inept at building brand, getting articles, press releases, SEO work getting done just on themselves. But I think in the insurance space where I'm at, it's truthfully like slept on. Like agents just don't care about personal brand or building a personal brand. Very few and far between. There are some, very few and far between. And a lot of them, just truthfully are, sticking to the underground, just calling your leads and doing that, which works. It still works, but it's the extra adding the value into your SEO, adding the value of just even getting press releases of you as an agent.
Sure.
Could significantly help. And then it's also like, have you even looked at yourself online? Right. Have you searched up your name? I bet everybody that's watching right now to go out after this episode's done. Don't leave right now, but after this episode's done, I want you to go and search your name on Google.
Yep. Google on all the platforms. Literally Google your name on. So did you know TikTok is the third most used search engine right now?
Yeah.
It's only got 1 billion users compared to Facebook has almost 3 billion users.
And
so it literally goes
Gen Z, it's huge in Gen Z right now.
TikTok, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, it's Facebook. That's the ranking of how many users they have. People use social media as a search engine. You have to look up because so many people share the same name, right? Like I'm one of the few. There's like 2 other Jake Zufelts in the world, right? But it's really common that a lot of people have the same name, and so when people can't find you because someone else's LinkedIn profile shows up on a search engine before you, there's work you can do to make that happen. And that's the first step. When we do SEO, and our SEO is advanced, man. It's very, very, very technical. It's expensive, if I'm honest with you. But it's press releases, it's Google My Business posts. It's 4 to 6 new pieces of written content on your website every single month. Our content team is doing written content for over 250 active SEO clients right now. I literally just hired someone to read SEO content for me. Like it's so much content. Why do we invest in that? Because content is king on SEO. That is just the way it is right now and the way that Google is ranking stuff. So Google yourself,
grand
man.
to get verified, and it's mostly just press articles.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Number 5. Ready for this one?
Yeah.
Clarify your message. Clarify your message. Clarify your message.
Clarify your message.
Yeah. People don't realize how vague their messaging is. And go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, go to a BNI group, go to all these different groups, and go say your one-liner and find out if people actually know what you mean. And you'll be surprised at how few people actually know what you're intending to mean. And when it comes to understanding a brand's messaging, when people have to use their brain too much, their brain actually uses up calories as they're trying to like develop some connection as to why they would use your service. So it's the path of least resistance, and it needs to be customer focused. So I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, like, when you think local, think my business. And it's all focused on them. So speaking of beer, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It is the beer capital of the universe, right? I'm a big IPA guy. Michelob Ultra has an ad that says superior outdoor beer. 3 words, okay? Superior outdoor beer. 10 Barrel, which is a microbrewery in Bend, Oregon. It was sort of bought out by a larger company. Their phrase is drink beer outside. Superior outdoor beer, drink beer outside. Michelob's is about them. It's about their brand. It's superior, this kind of stuff. 10 Barrels is about the customer. It's about the user. Both of them are 3-word phrases. That's it. But theirs, 10 Barrels, is the assumption that you're just bringing them along to be a part of your journey and your experience and your adventure. Drink beer outside. Okay. So much so, I bought 2 of their hats because I love it so much. And it's such an amazing example of just the tiniest shift in phrasing that changes the focus to make it so it's about the customer, not about you. I was on a discovery call with somebody and they said, we actually interview people for businesses and bring candidates to them to hire. But people keep thinking that we're an unemployment office. And I said, well, give me your elevator pitch. And they said, well, we often say we help people get back to work. And I go, did you hear it? And they go, yeah, we sound like an unemployment office. Yeah, absolutely. So you have to test your messaging all the time, okay? When we used to work in the real estate world, we used to say all the time, we help real estate agents miss less barbecues and birthdays. That piqued a lot of interest at gatherings because that connected to their pain point all the time, right? But I tested a couple different phrases with people, and we work very, very hard to clarify our messaging. We say if you confuse, you lose. If people don't know what you're talking about, like they're not going to work with you.
All right, give me one more important one off your list. The most important of them all, which was probably number 1, but give me another one.
And When it comes to digital marketing, you have to invest in great media.
Mm-hmm.
You have to invest in great media. When was the last time you had a professional photo shoot? When was the last time you had a professional video done? You have
Never.
to invest. It depends on the industry you're in, to be honest.
I'm just kidding.
But we work with a lot of escape room companies. You have to have good media. We've split tested all over the country. I think the last but not least is you have to have a predictable sales process. I mean, you and I are cut from the same cloth when it comes to that. You have to have a predictable sales process that is so curated that it's a faucet you can turn on and off.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy Chris Morrison, by the way.
Shout out to
predictable
Chris.
Guru. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris Morrison. I used to be better at my Australian accent because I hung out with him more.
Yeah, I used to.
He's a legend, you know.
Yeah,
it's really keen. You're really keen on
that. Now tell us, for business owners who are starting out, what's one pro tip you would give them? I know we're, predictable process, sales process, but what's pro tip, or I guess what would be your main focus for somebody who doesn't have a lot of capital, doesn't have a lot of money to invest in you or me or anybody for that matter, just themselves? What's the number one thing you would do to create some sort of a presence online for yourself without breaking the bank?
That's a great question. I've been asked that question quite a bit. I would say consistency across all platforms. When I say that, I mean use the same profile image on every single social media platform. LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is, the same image, have the exact same link to whatever page on your website you need to have. You don't have to have a 10-page website. You can have a really, really nice one-page landing page. We've built over 200 websites since January. A bunch of those were one-page websites to help people get off the ground. Okay. Really nice, custom. They're under $1,000. It's great. And I would also say this, one singular call to action. Do not confuse people with what you want them to do. If you want them to book a call, tell them to book a call. If you want them to view products and services, view products and services. Whatever it is, one singular picture, one URL, one call to action. That's it across everything. Doesn't cost you anything but a nice picture and a basic website.
Jake, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I've ever received. Oh man, I went through counseling for like 4 years, 2 different counselors. And the best advice I ever received.
I'm laughing at that.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah. No, I mean, I'll get deep real quick. The best advice I ever received is no one is responsible for your feelings and you are not responsible for anyone else's feelings. Deep. You are only responsible for your feelings. And the other thing about this is the freedom to be able to feel however it is that you're feeling. And this plays such a part in entrepreneurial world and business world, because when you start making other people responsible for your feelings, you start burning bridges very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And so you can't even control the way that you feel, but you can control to whether you react or whether you respond. There's a big difference between the two, and it can literally make or break not just your business, but your relationships, both personal and professional.
Very cool.
It's stoicism, man.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh man. This is a hot topic. I am very against the grind culture. I think work-life balance is so vital to succeeding in business and in life. So the idea that you have to work like 80 hours to be successful in business, I think it obviously you have to define what your business goals are. But when someone tells me like, you have to grind and all, dude, I got 3 little kids and a wife, and it is so vitally important to me that my business is set up in such a way that I can run it efficiently and still be able to clock out at some point to spend time with family. So when I've had people tell me like, man, 80 hours a week for 3 years, I've only got so much time with my kids, man. And so for me, it's really important that I carve that space out. Not a big fan of grind culture. And
yeah, you got to.
People are willing to disagree. I'm totally fine with people disagreeing with me on that. That's for me. That's
No,
for me.
I mean, I have to agree with you. I mean, you have to build, but you have to build your life around your business. I mean, you have to build your business around your life, not your life around your business. Sorry,
Right.
completely lost backwards there. But
It's all good.
I mean, I buy back a lot of time, you know, but I spend. There's a lot. I guess by me having the responsibility of others underneath of me,
yeah,
has allowed me to buy back my daily time. You know, I might work Saturdays and Sundays, but am I truly on for a full day?
right.
No, maybe not. Maybe I'm only putting in 6 hours a day, but you know, and I'm getting paid like I'm working 30. You know, but
but that's a good point though. It's like there is no perfect schedule for everybody.
No,
people like work Saturdays and Sundays because that works for them or for their family or whatever it is. They take Monday, Tuesday off. Whatever it is, it's like. But the idea that like, I heard somebody say this recently, like, keep as much information in your head at all times. Like, I have to be able to separate that out. I went kayaking with my oldest yesterday just so I was like, number one, spending intentional time with him, but also that like, I'm not on my phone. I'm not really available. Like I have to create some like physical space from work.
Yeah.
In order for me to create work-life balance.
I guess that's one thing that I think a lot of people struggle, especially now. COVID's came and gone, but everybody's even shifted, even in the insurance space, real estate space, right. Agency space, every kind of thing is basically shifted at home work.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of companies have even gone back. Productivity was still there. Cost was going way down. So I think a lot of companies have stayed there. And as independent agents, they're probably staying at home a lot more too.
Right.
What have you found? Because I know I have my own secret sauce to like shutting off the day, but I truthfully, I don't. I'm terrible at it. I suck at doing that. I go up. I had dinner 15 minutes before we jumped on. I'm sitting there like texting, eating dinner, saying thanks, babe. You made an amazing meal tonight, but I'm gotta go back out. What are you doing to shut the day off at the end of the day, and so it doesn't bleed into work? Because I know working at home right now, it just bleeds, right? You're at home, you're constantly there. What are you doing right now to combat that?
So my office is actually a shed in my backyard.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. Man, for me, it all revolves on my phone. It's something I'm working on as well. I mean, I'm a big Apple guy. And when I found the different levels of do not disturb, so I have it literally. So my general manager and my wife are the only people that can contact me like on Saturdays. And I have all the other notifications shut off. The big one for me is my Apple Watch. I will put my phone away and keep my Apple Watch on me so that if I see a notification that is really like literally an important, like an ad account has gone down or something has crashed, whatever, I can get the notification, but it sucks to respond on these things. And so for the most part, I just leave it alone. That's been a big distinguisher for me. The other thing is, man, is relying on my team to do their job so that on a Saturday, we're able to trade off some, response time. That's huge. My general manager, he has the entire week off this week. I feel like I'm missing my right arm, to be honest. But he's so good about making sure that when I am supposed to be on vacation, that I am actually on vacation. Like we have to have that kind of accountability and like vying for each other, that when he's gone this week, I am not contacting him. If he chooses to reach out to me, that's different. But and I know it's not true for some independent agents, independent agency owners, they don't have that luxury, but try to create it. If it means you taking less money for a salary to hire somebody who can be that number 2 person for you, it is worth every single penny for you to carve out some space.
Very cool. My man, for the people that do not know you and don't know how to get a hold of you, where to get a hold of you, to find you, maybe they liked what you said, maybe they didn't like what you said, but they still want to talk to you. Where can people get a hold of you? I will drop it down here once you start saying it.
Easiest thing, heightdigital.com/Jake. is how you book a discovery call with me. HeightDigital.com/Eugene is our direct website for Height Digital Eugene. Other than that, hit me up on social media. Jake Zufelt. Like I said, there's not a ton of Jake Zufelts out there, so you'll probably find me. But those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. I would love to chat. I mean, I will literally give 15, 30 minutes free consultation to anybody that reaches out just because they have help and need a question. I'm happy to do that. Awesome, my man. Well,
I appreciate you jumping on. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I know you're a busy guy.
All good.
And honestly, like you said, I got to shut that shut off button. I need to go and hang out with my daughter. You kind of pushed me like, I liked you. I love his face. He's got a beautiful face, beautiful conversation. I love talking to him, but I need to go and hang out with my family. I'm shutting the button. I'm hitting the button, guys. If you got any value out of this, share, go follow my man. And also share, like, subscribe if you're watching on Apple Music or listening on Apple Music or Spotify. I'm sorry. You should come and see our beautiful faces on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on our Facebook group, Predictable Insurance Network.
All of the things.
All of the things. Go and follow, like, subscribe. All right, I'm hitting the button.
Thanks for the invite, man.